Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Death from Above 40k. It's bat rep time again, and we've got a bit of a classic matchup, the Necrons versus the Blood Angels. We got it at 1500 points. We've got myself heading off the Blood Angels, I'll be running them today, and then Jakey Boy will be heading up the Necrons, because he's dying to have a crack at the Necrons, and no one touches my Blood Angels. That's my army, get away from it. Alright, so let's go through it. We'll break down the Blood Angels first. So there's a couple of changes to the list from the last battle report. Only a minor few, not a major few. If that made any sense at all. Alright, so we'll go through what we got first. So, we've got a battalion. In the battalion, we have Sangry Priest with your jump pack. That's it. Then we've got the Warlord of the Army, Primaris Captain with Power Sword and Auto Bolt Rifle. Now, he'll have Artisan of War as his Warlord trait, making his Power Sword damage 2. And then he'll be taking the Decimator upgrade as a relic for his gun, which makes it Strength 5, AP 2, damage 2, 3 shots, Assault. And then when he runs and stuff, it doesn't give him any penalty, so it means he can maneuver around just laying down a withering hail of fire. Then we have Mephiston. He's got Wings of Sanguinius, Shield of Sanguinius, and the Quickening as his powers. And then he's just got his normal sword and his plasma pistol. They're the 3 HQs. Then we've got troops. 1, 2, 3 identical units, all with auto bolt rifles and power fists on the sergeant. The only way you should be running them. That's my opinion, by the way. Alright, then for elites, we'll start over here. We got 5-man unit of Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators. You know what they do, they smash shit. Then we've got a Sangry Ancient with the Banner of Sacrifice. You love him, you know what he does. Behind him, Redemptor Dreadnought. Today we're taking the big Gatling cannon on both arms, and the Storm Bolters, and then the Icarus Rocket Pod on the back. Then we have 5 Sangry Guard with Carmine Blades and bolt guns. Now these 3 elites are led by Mephiston, making the... Oh, bugger, I always stuff these detachments up. The Elite Detachment. So that gives us another command point. Then in Heavy... Oh, that's another command point spent here too. So we'll be going into the battle with 8 command points, because we've bought an extra relic for 1 command point. Then over here in Heavy Support, we've got Assault Plasma, 5 of. Keep them fast moving. I was happy with how they performed last time. The battle didn't go so well, but I was happy with the guns. And then we've also got a Baal Predator, because you shouldn't leave home without one if you're playing Blood Angels. I wouldn't mind trying one out with all the flamers at some point though. So, that's 1500 points, 9 command points, and 1 has been spent on a relic at this point. And yeah, we'll be going into battle with 8. So, that's Blood Angels. Hopefully we'll go a bit better than we did against the Death Card. That was atrocious, but we won't talk about that. Moving along. So, Necrons. Bodies, and more bodies. So, what do we got here? We've got a battalion led by a Cryptek, who is the Warlord. Now, he's going to have a few things. He's going to have the Chronometron. He's got Immortal Pride as his Warlord trait, so everything around him never flees. Like, they auto-pass morale checks, and also he can deny 1 psychic power, which is one of the only real ways you can sort of do it with Necrons, so it's kind of handy, a little bit cool. I've given him the relic to try out this time too, the Sepiternal Weave, I think it is, which gives him +1 toughness and wounds, just to sort of keep him around a bit longer. By the way, this will be Mephrit, so for those of you who don't know, you get +1 to AP on your weapons when you're in half range. So next to him will be an Overlord. Now, he's just got a Void Sight, so he's just going to be there to give my will be done and chop off Blood Angels' heads. That's pretty much it. Alright, troops. 1 10-man unit of Immortals with Gorse. Another 10-man unit of Immortals with Gorse. And then we've got a big 20-man blob of Necron Warriors. So that makes up the battalion. Then in elites, we have a 10-man unit of Sniper guys. So we'll see how they go this battle. I figure with... You know, Jake said if I'm going to be deep striking in, he's going to be deep striking in and shoot me when I deep strike. He's going to deep strike my deep strike. So he's going to give them a run. Then we've got Triarch Stalker, so a bit of anti-tank. Also gives the army reroll ones to hit with whatever it targets, which is really nice. Then we got 2 annihilation barges, so they're just DACA for days. When they get up close, they get a bit of AP. Then we've also got the Cetan, which his powers, he chose to roll 2. One of them is immune to natural law, which gives him +1 to his save throws. And the other one is, these are bloody mouthfuls, transdimensional displacement, which means when he advances, it's an auto 12. So he could move up to 20 inches. It's quite cray-cray. Then for his psychic power, well, they're not psychic powers, they're powers of the Cetan. He chose Antimatter Meteor, which is pretty much Smite, but instead of a psychic test, you just roll, and on a 2-up, it goes off. D3 mortal wounds, and then the other one is Transdimensional Thunderbolt, which when you get close to things, you can roll for all the units within 9, and on a 4-up, they take mortal wounds. So that's pretty cool. And then freshly painted and new to the army, I decided to add some destroyers with the Gorse. I've got more of these to come, but they were a saviour job, like, a repaint of. They were in real bad shape, so as you can see, I've had to redo all the weapons and bases and everything and that, so I've got a bit of work on my hands. I've got 3 more of them. I'm going to make one of them a Lord and then a 5-man unit. So, that's 1,500 points in Necrons. They've got 8 command points, and they haven't spent any command points or anything. They've just taken the 1 free relic. So we'll see how this goes. It should be a pretty good matchup. Both these armies got a lot of DACA, fair amount of bodies. Probably one's got a few more bodies, Necrons. But anyway, we'll see how that goes, and we'll roll up a mission. Holy crap. Someone's going quick on their bike out there. We'll roll up a mission, and we'll get these guys smashing into each other, and we'll see who comes out on top. Hopefully the Blood Angels fare better against the Necrons than the poor Space Wolves did. Alright, we'll get back to yous. Alright guys, we've rolled up a mission, and it was pretty straightforward. We just went out of the main rulebook, and we rolled up an Eternal War mission, and we got Meat Grinder. So pretty much it is what it is. It's kill points. So you get a point for every unit you kill, and there's First Strike, Line Breaker, and Warlord up for grabs. And outside of that, that's it for the points. So it's just to go at each other and kill the crap out of each other. So we rolled. Jake rolled heist. So again, he picked a deployment zone, and I set up first. So if we go over here, by the way, we know that's not in the main rulebook, but we just always play with those rules now because they're much better than going unit by unit and the whole shenanigans. We much prefer this platform, so that's why we go with it. So, starting from right, put my Baal Predator sort of behind these things so that it doesn't get shot up if I don't have the first turn. Then if we come across here, we've got Primaris Intercessors all the way along the front of this building. They're all toe-tapping the terrain so that they get cover in case we lose the first turn. So they're all there. Then just above him here in the rafters is the Sangrew Priest. If we come around this side here, above him is the banner. Measured it out so that they're all getting their Feel No Pain. So they got their cover and Feel No Pain. Then down in here, so we've got the Redemptor Dread at the back. And then if you sort of look in there, we've got the Captain. Then we've got the 5 Hellblasters. And Mephiston's also squished in there as well. Then in Deep Strike Reserve, we have the 5-man unit of Sangard and the 5-man unit of Thundernators. Just to give me some control. I know a lot of people say start them on the board, but I like to have things in Deep Strike Reserve because you just don't know how the battle's going to pan out and where things need to go. He could run all the way over in the back corner and I just can't get to him. Alright, so how'd Jakey boy set up? So first things first, he's put the death marks in Deep Strike Reserve because he's going to deep strike my Deep Strikers. That's what he's been telling me. We've got Annihilation Barge on the right hand side. Then coming here, massive blob. So we've got 10-man Immortals, 10-man Immortals. Then we've got the 2 characters sort of in the centre there. And then behind them a big blob of 20 Cron Warriors. Then we've got here, I've forgotten his bloody name. The big anti-tank guy. It'll come back to me in a second. The Triarch Stalker, that's him. Then over here, We got the Cetan behind the destroyers. We've put him behind this big building to sort of block the line of sight. He doesn't want me shooting him off the battlefield straight away. And then over the other side, he's decided to put another destroyer, annihilation barge, to, you know, have control of the full board, so he can flank around, shoot me from all different angles, and create lanes of fire. So at this current juncture, I have first turn. So would you like to try and seize the initiative? Yep, that's a big nod and a big smile and a, where are you throwing it, champ? That's a 4. So unfortunately, this is the third game in a row we've had. Third, where I've managed to go first. Now I've won one, lost one, so we don't know. This will be the decider. Is going first good? Will I be super aggressive and get punished again? Who knows? We'll get back to it in a minute, and we'll kick off with the Blood Angel's first turn. Alright guys, end of Blood Angel turn 1. So it was a reasonably successful turn, and I'm happy with it. We will start over on the right hand side. So this Baal Predator comes zipping out of here and fired down range and took 5 wounds off this guy. Now they're only damage 1 attacks, so he couldn't use his shield or anything like that, and being AP2 and just high volume of shots, it was a really good outcome. Over here, movement wise, this far front unit ran to get around here to be able to shoot. Mephiston moved, then Wings of Sanguinius himself. He also shielded the big Dreadnought. The rest of the jump packs followed suit, and all this, these guys at the front just simply moved forward. The plasma guns ran to keep up, and the captain ran to get in position to give all these guys the reroll once. So pretty much the short and simple of it is everything across here shot over here and deleted a 10-man unit of Immortals. So pretty much all firepower was used. I used big guns, never tire on this as well, so I used a stratagem on him so that he doesn't suffer the neg for moving and firing, which kicked off a good amount of shooting, and then these other ones sort of cleaned up with their massed amount of bolter fire. So we got first strike, and we're off to a reasonably good start. Damage the vehicle, so we'll see what happens in Necron turn 1. We'll get back to you, is that right? Alright guys, end of Necron turn 1. Jakey boy's made some moves, he's doing some shooting, and he's blowing some shit away. So let's go through movement. We'll start over this side on the right hand side. So Annihilation Barge from here, jumped out of here, getting a bead over here. These Immortals move forward, same thing, getting a bead over here. And these Necron Warriors here sort of moved, because this is here, sort of keeping a few in the middle to keep them linked, but then shooting around this side, and this side also down this way. The Transcendent Cetan jumped over here, and this thing moved to the side, because believe it or not, somehow it wasn't even meant to be, but where this Dreadnought was, and then where this was lined up, completely blocked line of sight to this thing just by, like that. You can nearly see it now when you come down. There you go. Look at that camera work, mate. Over here, these guys jumped around, and this thing flew away from the Baal Predator and come up over here. So let's go through some shooting. Over this side, these guys jumped out, used annihilation protocols and shot at this unit, also supported by this annihilation barge, and they removed everyone down to 1 model in that Primaris unit. Then this guy tried to do his like smitey attack and rolled a 1. So this guy then passed his leadership, because with the banner nearby, their leadership 9, so he passed. Coming over here, this thing shot at my Dreadnought, got 1 hit, got 1 wound, but then the Shield of Sanguinius saved him. So good power to take to sort of help protect one of your vehicles or units. All of these guys, these Immortals, and this Annihilation Barge, all shot over into here and killed this Primaris Intercessor unit down to 1 guy. He also passed his leadership thanks to the banner, and being smaller units, they're leadership 9. So his turn 1, he killed a heap of models. Didn't get the first strike. That's okay though. Definitely shown his dominance. So at the end of round one for both armies. We've both shown that we can shoot. So let's go on and see what the Blood Angels do in their next turn in retaliation for all this death and destruction. Alright guys, we'll get back to yous. Okay guys, Blood Angels turn 2. Round this bad boy up. So, Baal Predator moved around here, shot into this thing again, took another couple of wounds off it. This guy moved forward, shot at this guy because why not? Didn't do anything. Coming over here, all of this stuff here, shot into the this front unit and a couple of the warriors. So the warriors, there's, what is there, 5 of them left, and there's 3 of these guys left, but they're fearless, so they stay there. So all the shooting from here managed to whittle well, they didn't do all of it because then, okay. So the plasma pretty much killed most of this unit, and then some shots from these guys killed the rest of this Immortals unit. This guy shot across, whittled this thing down, killed a fair few of them. Then the Thunderhammer Terminators popped up down here, come running around here, and popped another 7 of them. I paid the command point, what is it? I think it's like Fury of the First or something like that. It's the one that gives +1 to hit for Terminators for being veterans of, and you know, all that jazz. So they smashed them up, so there's only 5 of them left. Coming across here, Mephiston flew over here, killed 2 of these and put the last one down to his final wound, but couldn't finish the squad off. So they're probably going to fly away and reanimate now, which is a bit of a bugger, but I'll just have to keep chasing them around and cutting them down. Over here is where it got real tricky. So I landed my Sangori Guard here. Then Jake depth struck in, done a deep strike right next to me with his sniper dudes, and he killed every single guy in the unit except for this guy who was wounded once. So these guys popped up out of nowhere, shot into me Sangard and just blew the absolute shit out of them. So they pretty much didn't even get to do anything this game. They popped up, got shot to shit. This guy charged in, tried to attack this barge, and he wasn't successful. So, in summation, there was a lot of good shooting. We whittled a lot of things down and we smashed up a heap of Necrons. But the problem is, they're probably all going to get back up next turn because there was a fair few units we didn't quite finish off. So, we'll get back to Necron turn 2 and see if they whittle us down, because the problem is we don't get back up. Alright guys. Alright guys, end of Necron turn 2, and it was pretty brutal. So in this bit here, pretty much everything backed away from combat. For this unit here, a bunch of them got back up, so they went back up to 8 total, and over here 7 more got back up, so they're back up to around 12. They all backed out of combat, and then these guys shot into here, this shot into here, and this guy shot into here, and they killed 3 of the Terminators with just mass shooting. The Cetan killed one of these guys with his psychic powers, then ran in and killed another one in combat. He only gets 4 attacks. It's a little underwhelming for a god, but anyway. Over here, it's pretty brutal. All of these guys got back up. Far out. Jumped out, just fucking, obviously, Annihilation Protocols, nuked Mephiston. Something like 12 wounds on him or something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. This guy jumped out of combat here. He split fire. He finished off the guy that was here. He didn't finish off this Sangori Guard. And then, interestingly enough, these guys moved around here and shot into here and took 8 wounds off this tank. 3 mortal wounds and then 5 normal wounds. So they've scored themselves 2 points. So it's 2-all at the end of battle round 2 for 2 completed units. Oh, well, sorry, Blood Angels got first strike and completely killed 1 unit, and the Necrons have now obliterated 2 units themselves. So we'll go on to Blood Angels turn 3 and see if we can bounce back. That was a pretty harsh turn, to be honest, and a lot of stuff got back up. These getting back up, whew, Jesus, that was a whew, whew. Alright, so we'll see what we can do. Blood Angels turn 3, covered up. End of Blood Angel turn 3, gone into the Assault Doctrine, and we definitely turned it up. Alright, so we'll start over this side of the field. This guy shot into the... Oh, I can't remember their name. I'm doing this all day. I do it all the time. The snipers, he killed 6 of them. Then this guy charged in and killed another 1 of them. And then they rolled a 6 for their morale, wiping out the last 3. So between these two, they managed to kill, that's it, death marks. Killed the death marks. Got rid of them. Scored us a point there. And they, even though this tank was wounded, he was only hitting on 4s, but still with the massed amount of DACA. That's why I love Baal Predators. No matter what, you're just spraying shots, you're forcing dice rolls. Really good stuff. So, cleared a little bit over here. Not fully though, because destroyers and barges and everything are still over there. If we come over here, this unit here stepped out of combat with the C-10. Then these guys overcharged and shot like 6 wounds off him. Then the captain, or before the captain and this guy charged, this big guy shot the crap out of the immortals that were here, with this sergeant running in, finishing them off. Then the captain and this guy did charge the C-10. The captain finished off the C-10, so the Dreadnought didn't have to swing, so they both consolidated forward. Then coming around here, there was more Terminators, because 1 got back up, so there was 3 when the combat began. Between the 3 Terminators, the Sangri Priest and the Sangri Ancient, they finished off the rest of the Necron Warriors. I used my last command point to give these guys that +1 to hit with their Thunderhammers again, which proved to be really good. But then, on the way in, 1 got blown away with Overwatch, and then this guy heroically intervened in and smashed 1 of them up. So, the Blood Angels scored 4 points that turn, so we killed the Death Marks, a unit of Warriors, a unit of Immortals, and the C-10. So that's put the Blood Angels on 6. Necrons are still on 2, but they still have 2 Annihilation Barges. They both got the characters. They got these guys. It's more the troops that have really been thinned out, but so have mine. So we'll get on with Necron turn 3 and see if they can turn it up and finish some of this off. Alright, we'll get back to you in a minute and continue the carnage. Alright guys, end of Necron turn 3. So, we've done a few things. Jakey boy's hit back, he's struck, he's made his mark. First off, this thing jumped over here. A lot of the stuff in here is in combat. This jumped up into the rafters. They're all full health again. And this thing swung around the corner so that it could shoot and not be hindered by the Baal Pred. So, this thing got rid of the Sangri Guard that was there, because in the assault phase, the Sangri Guard jumping around can just really delete and hamper units. So, got rid of him. These guys used Annihilation Protocols, shot into the big dread here, and took, I think, like 10 wounds off him. Then this guy shot into him, took another wound. He attempted to hit him with the heat ray, nothing happened. Ran into combat and took 1 more wound off him. So this ginormous dread is on 1 wound left. He like Jake's just shaking his head. He nearly got him, but it was nearly another point. Then he managed to hit back once and take 3 wounds off Triarch, Stalker. He got his Lord ran in and just pulverized the Sanctuary, can't even say it. Yep, I'm just gathering myself here, people. Sanguinary Ancient. There it is. The Void Scythe is like bloody strength 10, AP 4, flat 3 damage, so he just pulverized him. It just went straight to Feel No Pains, and he couldn't make 9 Feel No Pains. This guy ran in here, took off a wound off this guy, and then got 2 taken off him in return. Sort of just steered clear of the Terminator, because there's no point inviting him into the combat, because why would you do that? So, at the end of this, the Necrons managed to score themselves another 2 points, because they finished off the Sangri Ancient and they finished off the Sanguinary Guard. So, Blood Angels are 6, they're on 4. They've still got their Destroyers, they've still got some other things. We'll just discuss, and we know why people take these in units of 5 now. The extra 2, you wouldn't be here, mate. But anyway, we'll go on to Blood Angels turn 4 and see what the GO is. See if we can get rid of these Necrons off this board once and for all. Alright, we'll be back. Alright guys, at the end of Blood Angels, turn 4,
it got pretty hectic. It did indeed. So, what happened? We'll start over this side. First off, this guy shot over here into the destroyers. These guys also shot into him, softened them up a bit. Then these guys made a 12-inch charge and finished off the last one. The captain here also moved over to join in on the shooting, but he failed his charge to get in. Combat here. The Triarch Stalker finished off the Redemptor Dread. Then the Sanguinary I can't even say it now. I'm going. This Sanguinary Priest finished off their Warlord, which was the Cryptek, and then the Overlord smashed the Terminator in half. Then these guys shot into here and took 5 wounds off him. We didn't overcharge. I thought the 10 shots might be enough to do it. Didn't quite do it. And then one of the one of the Intercessor Marines went to charge in and got killed on Overwatch. So it was a brutal round. So at the end of this, the Blood Angels are on 9 and the Necrons are on 7. So the Necrons actually managed to score a couple of points during my turn, smashing up my shit. So they're by no means out of it. They've got this Annihilation Barge over here. They've still got this guy. They've got the big thing here. And they've got this Annihilation Barge over here. So we'll go on to Necron turn 4 and see if they can't finish off some of these Blood Angels. It's getting pretty gritty here, so we'll see what happens. All right, we'll get back to you in Necron's turn 4. Alright guys, we've got end of Necron turn 4 and Jake has done some pretty crazy stuff. So, over here, this shot into here killed 1.5 Marines. If we come around here, the Triarch Stalker tried to shoot its 2 heat rays into this guy, failed. Then he ran in to try and combat him, failed. Then the captain turned around and cut him down, doing 10 wounds on him. But then the Triarch Stalker blew up and he copped 3 mortal wounds. So, that was a bit of a brutal turnaround. Then over here, this Annihilation Barge shot into here and killed a couple of Hellblasters. Then the Lord ran in and smashed them down. There's only one of them left. So, the Blood Angels are still in it. I don't think the Necrons scored any points that turn because they didn't wipe a unit out, but they did definitely mess some units up. So we'll go on to Blood Angel turn 5 and see if they can't rectify the problem that is happening here and kill all these guys. We'll get back to you. End of Blood Angels turn 5. It went okay. It didn't really pan out how I wanted it to go, but let's let you in on what I did. So this come round and so did the guys that were here. This shot into it and took a couple of wounds off it. It's missing 5 wounds, so I only had 3 left. I went to charge in with the couple of intercessors were left and they all got obliterated on the way in because every 6 gets 2 extra shots. So yeah, they end up losing like 5 wounds between the 2 of them and just getting annihilated. No feel, no pain, no nothing. So Necron scored a point there. Then coming over here, this guy jumped over and healed my captain, so he's on 4 wounds. He shot over here into this and didn't do anything, and then attempted to charge in to kill this guy but failed to charge. This guy got wounded by the Hellblaster, but then the Hellblaster was cut down, scoring him another point. So at the end of Blood Angels turn 5, we didn't score any points, but they scored 2 points, so we're both on 9 points now. So it's going to go into Necron turn 5 now. So they've managed to even the points up in their turn, and now we're going into their turn. So this could get real nasty real quick. So we'll have Necron turn 5 and see if these couple of Blood Angels are still on the battlefield. Just taking a note here too that there's 2 Necron vehicles and a character, 2 Blood Angels character and a vehicle. So this has been grindy as hell, just the way we like it. So we'll get back to you at the end of the Necron turn 5. Alright guys, end of Necron turn 5. What another round. So let's see what happened. This thing moved forward, shot over here, blew away the Sanguinary Priest, scored him a point. This guy here flew over here and shot into here, did massive amount of wounds, but only managed to did a massive amount of wounds, but only failed one save on the tank, so it's still got 9 wounds, so it's still in the fight somehow. Then the Overlord charged in to the captain, and he did do 2 wounds, but the captain saved them both, and then did 6 wounds back on the Overlord, cutting him down. So at the end of Necron turn 5, both armies are on 10 points. So there's no line breaker at this point. A unit from each army died, and there's 2 units still from each army left. So on the roll of a 1 or 2, this game's going to come to an end. There we go. That is the end of the game, and it's a draw. So there we have it. Blood Angels versus Necrons comes down to an absolute grinder of a battle and an absolute draw. Whew. Literally the people that are in this camera frame right now, like I'm choosing this guy as man of the match. You know, support with his gun, he's good in combat, he gives the rerolls to 1. I know he's only got the sword because he's a Blood Angel with the +1 to wound and in the combat phase, and using Artisan of War, it turns him into a bit of a beat stick. Like he can take hits and he can give them out. Jake was saying he's given it to the Annihilation Barges, both of them that are still on the battlefield, because they persisted through the entire battle, just got around, peppering units down. They racked up some good points for him throughout the match. Honourable mention to the Baal Pred too. People bag him out, but this thing's still somehow on the battlefield. It was providing support fire the entire battle, so it's pretty cool. Alright, so that's another battle done, and we hope you enjoyed it, and we will get back to you in the next one.